So in this video, we are going to learn how to create double opt-in system to verify email with Pabbly Connect. So we are going to create a system using which whenever you are going to receive a new form submission on your website or any other online form building application like FormStack, the email address which the users are going to enter, we are going to send an email verification to verify those emails as well. So we are going to set up two automation workflows. The first workflow will trigger that whenever we are going to receive a new form submission, the form responses will be added as a detail in our Google spreadsheet, and after adding the details, we are going to send an email verification, a verification email using Gmail to the same person who made the form submission. And the email will be created using HTML. So we are going to create an HTML based email where we are going to add a verify email button as well. Now in this button, we are also going to add a webhook URL. So as the user is going to click on this verify email button, the second automation workflow will trigger. And in this response, in the second automation workflow, we are going to get a webhook response with the details of the person who has clicked the verify email button, who has verified their email address. So what we are going to do, we are going to search for the same person in our Google spreadsheet. And after searching for the same person, we are going to update the status of the email for that person as verified. So we are going to create a small system to verify the email address entered by the user in online forms. Now, if you also want to learn how you can create this kind of system with the help of Pabbly Connect, for that, you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, this is a registration form which I have created using FormStack. Now I want that whenever I receive a new form submission, a new form response using this form, I want to add the form responses in my Google spreadsheet. And also I'm going to send an email verification to the same email address which they have entered in this form submission, just to verify their email address. And in this email, we will be having this verify email button. Now, whenever the user is going to open this email and click on verify email button, then using automation, we are going to update the status of email verification for the same person in our Google spreadsheet as well. In this way, you can create a complete system of double opt-in email verification using Pabbly Connect. Now, as I told you that the applications, the platform which we are using right now, you can basically change these platforms and use any other platform of your choice over here. Like for example, I'm getting the data from FormStack. You can use any other form building application or any other type of platform too. I'm storing the details and updating the verification status in my Google spreadsheet. But instead of this as well, you can use any other platform, and I will be using Gmail to send the emails, but you can basically use any other email sending service too. Now to create this kind of system, we have to basically connect all three of these applications, and we are going to use an automation and integration platform called Pabbly Connect. Now to access Pabbly Connect, just go to your browser and search for pabbly.com/connect. And here you can see we have reached to Pabbly Connect's landing page. Here you can see two options, sign in and sign up free. Now, if you're new to Pabbly, by clicking on sign up free, you can set up your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. Or if you're an existing Pabbly user, just click on sign in. After clicking on sign in, you will reach to this all apps page of Pabbly. Here we just have to click on access now below Pabbly Connect. And after clicking on access now, we will reach to Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now here we have to create the automation workflow. For that, just click on this create workflow button and give this workflow a name. Let's say I would like to name it as FormStack to Google Sheets to Gmail. So basically, we are going to create two different automation workflows in this video. First workflow is of sending the verification email to the user, like getting the form responses, adding them in Google Sheet, and sending the verification email. And the second automation workflow, which is going to get triggered whenever any user is going to click on this button, which we have added over here of verify email. So this is the first automation workflow, FormStack to Google Sheets to Gmail. Then just select the folder of your Pabbly Connect account in which you want to create this automation and click on create. Now after clicking on create, here you can see the workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, you can see two different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's start with our trigger window. Now here in the trigger step, first we have to connect the FormStack form which we have created with Pabbly Connect, so that whenever we are going to receive a new form submission, a new response from the user using this form, automatically the form responses will be captured inside Pabbly Connect and our first automation workflow will trigger. So here in the trigger step, choose for form stack. Just search for it, form stack. After selecting form stack in trigger event from the dropdown, select the trigger event as new form submission. After selecting the trigger event, just click on connect and select add new connection. Now here we have to connect our form stack account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, click on this connect with form stack button. Now because I have already logged into my form stack account in my browser, Pabbly Connect will detect the same account. And here in this pop-up window, we just have to click on this authorize button. And as we click on authorize, we will see our form stack account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making the connection, the only thing it asks us is the form. So here in this dropdown, you will get a list of all the forms which you have created in form stack. And you have to select the form from which you want to capture the responses. Right now in my form stack account, I have only one form named as registration form. And I'm going to select that exact same form over here because I want to capture this form's responses in my workflow. And after selecting the form, just click on save and send test request. Now when we click on save and send test request, you can see it has now changed to waiting for response. This means Pabbly Connect is waiting to get some responses of the form submission from this form. So let's do it. We will just open this form in preview mode or live mode and we are going to make a test form submission. Let's say the name of the person is test user. Then this is the email address. And after that, this is a dummy mobile number which we are entering. Just some dummy numbers. Then here in city, I'm going to enter the city as, for example, Bhopal, and the age is, for example, 25. So just now we have entered the details of a dummy user in this form. Now let's click on this submit form button. And as we click on submit, here you can see the form submission is done. We have received a new form response in the form which we have created in form stack. And because we have connected this form with Pabbly Connect, we will see in our Pabbly Connect workflow in this trigger step, we have received the response. And in this response, you can see the details of this exact same form submission. Here you can see the same first name test, same last name user, same email address which we have entered, also the same mobile number, city, and the age as well. This means the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed, where we have received the responses, the details from our trigger step, basically from our online form in our Pabbly Connect workflow. Now after this, let's move to step 2. And in step 2, we are going to add these same details in our Google spreadsheet as well. For that, we will just scroll down, come to this action step, and here in choose app, search for Google Sheets. Just select it. After selecting Google Sheets, here in action event from this drop-down, we are going to select the action event as add new row. Then just click on connect and select add new connection. Now here in this step, we have to connect our Google Sheets account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, click on this sign in with Google button. After that, here from this pop-up window, select your Google Sheets account. Then after that, just scroll down and click on continue. And as you click on continue, we will see our Google Sheets account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it is going to ask us is to select the spreadsheet, as you can see over here. So here in this drop-down, you can see a list of all the spreadsheets which we have in our Google Sheets account. Out of all of this, the spreadsheet in which I want to add these form responses and update the data of the verification status of the email is named as new registrations. So here from this drop-down, we are going to select this spreadsheet. After selecting the spreadsheet, it is asking us to select the sheet. So right now in this spreadsheet, I have only one sheet named as sheet 1. That's why in this drop-down, you can see only one option of sheet 1. But it is most likely possible that you might be having multiple sheets in your Google spreadsheet. So you will get a list of all the sheets over here in the drop-down, and you can select the sheet in which you want to add the form responses. Then after that, all the columns of data which we have created in this Google Sheet, you can see all of these columns as fields inside Pabbly Connect. So we have name, email, mobile number, city, age, and email verification status. So what we have to do, we have basically received all of these details of form responses from form stack in the trigger step. So here from this trigger step responses, one by one, we are going to map all of these responses to this Google Sheets action step. And the process of mapping is very simple. Like here in the field of name, we want to add the name of the person, which we have received from form stack in the trigger step. And to map it, just click on this field of name, and here in this drop-down, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received. Out of all of these responses, select the response of the first name of the person and it will be mapped. Then after that, just add a space and select and map the response of last name as well. And we will be following this same process of mapping for the other fields as well. Like here in email, we will just click here. From the drop down, select the response of email address and map it. Then after that, let's map the mobile number as well. This is a dummy mobile number. Then we are going to enter the city too. So let's map the response of city. And at last, let's map the response of age as well. We have a last column of email verification status, which we are going to update after the user is going to click on this verify email button on the email which we are going to send to them using the second automation workflow. So this field will be updated using the second automation. But right now, we only have to enter these details. And after entering details into the respective field after mapping the data, just click on save and send test request. After clicking on save and send test request, here you can see we have received the response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the details of the user which we have mapped over here, these details are now added in our Google spreadsheet. So let's check it. We'll just go to our Google Sheet and yes, here a new row of data is added and you can see the details of the same person who made the form submission. We have the same name, email, mobile number, city and age as well. And the email verification status, this column is blank because we haven't mapped any data over here. We just kept it blank intentionally. So the step 2 of this automation is also completed. Now let's move to step 3. And in step 3, we are going to send an email from our Gmail account to this same person. And we are going to send an email in the HTML format like this. To send this kind of email using Pabbly Connect, we have to create the email in HTML format. So let me show you how you can do it. We will just click on this add action step button over here and then here in choose app, we will search for Gmail. Just select it. And as I told you, I'm using Gmail to send the email. I'm using Gmail service to send the emails to the user just for an example. You can basically use any other email marketing platform or any other email service as well to send the similar email. Then after selecting Gmail in action event from the drop down, select send email as the action event. Then just click on connect and select add new connection. And here, as you can guess, we have to connect our Gmail account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, click on this Connect with Gmail button. Then just select your Gmail account using which you want to send the emails. Then scroll down and click on Allow. And as we click on Allow, we will see our Gmail account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the recipient email address. That what is the email address of the person to whom we want to send the email. So we want to send the email to the same person who made the form submission and on the same email which they have entered in the form submission as well. So we will be once again use the process of mapping. Just click on this field and from the drop down from form stack responses, select the response of the email of the user and map it. Then after recipient email, it is asking us for CC and BCC as well. Like if you want, you can add some email addresses in the CC and BCC of this email too. Right now, I don't want to add any email address over here. So we are just going to keep it blank. Then it is asking us for the sender name. That by what name this email will be sent to the user. Let's say I want the name of the sender name to be Pabbly Team. You can basically enter any sender name as per your choice. You can mention your own name, your brand name, your company name, your product name, any name as per your requirement. Then it is asking us for the email subject, that what will be the subject line of this email which we are sending. Let's say I want my subject line to be email verification. You can basically enter any subject line over here. It can be static or dynamic subject line. If you want, you can add the details from the previous step in subject line too. After subject line, it is asking us to reply to email over here. And here in reply to email, if you want to get the replies from the person to a specific email address other than this email, you can enter it. But right now, we don't want to do that. And here comes one of the most important field, that is email content type. So most of the user by default use plain content type, plain email type over here. But right now, what we are going to do, we will just click here and from the drop down, we are going to select HTML over here. Because we are going to create an HTML email and send it to the user to send this kind of email with this button and get the response as the user clicks on this button. So what we are going to do, we are going to create the email over here in the HTML format. And in the same email in the HTML format, we are going to add this button of verify email. By clicking on this button, a webhook response will be sent to the second automation workflow which we are going to create right now. And then after that, as we get the webhook response with the user details on the second automation workflow, we will be updating their details, or we will be updating their email verification status in our Google spreadsheet. Now, to create the email body in HTML format, what you can do, you can just use ChatGPT or Google Gemini or any other platform of your choice. It is not necessary for you to understand the HTML or to write an HTML code. I have just done ChatGPT. To ChatGPT, I have given a prompt as write a professional email in HTML with proper formatting to be sent as verification email on a registration form submission. I want to mention the received form responses like name, email, mobile number, city, and age in the email, and also add a verify button with webhook URL. So this is a very important part, to add a verify button with webhook URL. When the user will click on the verify button, a webhook response will be sent to the user detail with email verified message. So this is a very important thing, guys, to enter the correct prompt to ChatGPT. And after that, ChatGPT has given me this email body over here. You can just copy the HTML code from here, or basically add some more prompt, have a long conversation with ChatGPT, and you can also basically make or get a perfect email of your choice. And after getting the correct email with a verify button, added a webhook URL, what we have to do, we will basically add the same HTML body over here in this email content field. So what I'm going to do, I will just copy this HTML code from here and then paste it over here. So we have basically entered the same HTML body given by ChatGPT for our email in this field. Now here you can see the formatting of this HTML body is not pretty good. It's a chaos over here. So let's wait for a few seconds and let me correct the formatting of this email. Okay, so here I have corrected the formatting of this email content which we have written using ChatGPT in the HTML format. So here you can see we have the HTML body, we have some details related to the formatting of this email content as well. We'll scroll down further and here you can see we have added some other details like the form responses which we have received over here. We have these variables in double curly braces which we are going to update right now. And after that, here you can see we have this anchor tag for the webhook URL. Now here you can see we have to basically replace this text and enter the webhook URL of our Pabbly Connect workflow of the second workflow. Now before continuing with this email body, let's create another automation workflow in our Pabbly Connect account so that we can get the correct webhook URL which we have to add over here. So I'll just go to the dashboard of my Pabbly Connect account and I'm going to create the second automation workflow. Let's say I want to name this workflow as update email verification status. Update email verification status. Let's click on create. So after clicking on create, here you can see we are going to create second automation workflow inside Pabbly Connect. And here in this automation workflow in the triggers tab, we are going to use webhook by Pabbly. Just select webhook over here. After selecting webhook in trigger event from the dropdown, select the trigger event as catch webhook. After selecting trigger event, here you can see Pabbly Connect gave us the webhook URL. Now we will just copy this webhook URL from here and paste it over here in our HTML body, here in your webhook URL field. So we will just clear this data and paste the exact same webhook URL. After adding the webhook URL, here you can see in this email, we have these placeholders written in double curly braces. And we have to basically map the correct responses in place of these placeholders. Like after hello in the email, we want to mention the name of the person, the first name. So what we are going to do, we will just clear this placeholder from here, and from the drop down from form stack responses, we will just select the response of the first name of the person and map it. In this way, whatever first name the user is going to enter while making the form submission, we are going to mention the same first name and the same details in the email as well, which we are going to send them. Now after this, we are going to update the other placeholders in this HTML email as well. Here you can see we have some other placeholders in double curly braces. Once again, we have the name over here. We will just clear this placeholder, and from the drop down, select the response of first name, then we'll add a space and select the response of last name as well. Then after that, after mentioning the name, the next placeholder we have is of email. So we'll just clear, and from the drop down, select the response of email. And in this way, we are going to update the rest of the placeholders as well. Let's update the mobile number, the response of city, and at last the response of age as well. So you have to be very careful while updating the HTML body, HTML email over here. After updating the placeholders over here, you can see we have added the webhook URL, and we want to send the details of the person who has verified the email to the webhook URL as well. And all the data sent on this webhook URL will be received inside our second automation workflow in the trigger step. And the second automation workflow will trigger. Now to send these details after webhook URL, we also have some placeholders over here. So we are going to update these placeholders too. And we are going to use the same process of mapping to update the placeholders over here. From the drop down, we are going to select the response of first name in place of name. Now to add the space in an URL, what we have to do, we have to write %20 over here. So we have to add the space between first name and last name. So I've added %20 and map the response of last name over here. Then we have the second placeholder of email. So from the drop down, we are going to map the response of email over here. Just select it. The third placeholder over here is of mobile number. So let's select the response of mobile number and map it. Then we have the fourth placeholder for city. So from the drop down, let's map city. And the fifth placeholder in this webhook URL is of age. So let's map the value of age as well. In this way, all the data in the email and the data which we are going to receive in our second automation workflow, all of this data will be dynamic and we will be replacing all of these data from the responses which we have received from the user from the form stack submission. Now, in this way, you can see we have created the HTML email. We have created the email body in HTML format using ChatGPT and added the same body over here. And the important part is we have to add this verify email button with this correct webhook URL. After creating the email, let's add the company name at last. For example, I'll add the company name as Pabbly over here, just for an example. Now, after creating the email content, it is asking us file name and attachment. Now, if you want, you can send some kind of file attachments using the same action. But right now, we don't want to send any file attachments, so we are just going to ignore these two fields for now. And after that, just click on this Save and Send Test Request button over here. After clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we have received some response, and this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the email which we have created over here, basically the HTML email which we have drafted over here, this email is now sent to the same person whose email address we have entered, basically the user who made the form submission. So let's check it. We will just go to the email inbox of this user, and yes, here you can see this user has received an email from Pabbly team, the same sender name which we have entered over here. Also, we have the same subject line, that is email verification over here, as you can see over here. And in this email, you can see we have the email in the HTML format with the proper formatting. We have the same content which was given by ChatGPT. And here after hi, you can see we have mapped the name of the person. So we have the name of the person who made the form submission in the email after hi. Also, you can see the same form responses as well. And we have this button of verify email. And here in this button, we have added our webhook URL. Now, as the user is going to click on this verify email button, a webhook notification, basically the details of the form submission, will be sent on our second automation workflow. So we have added the webhook URL from our second automation workflow, and here in the trigger step, you can see it is showing us waiting for webhook response. So I will just click on this verify email button, and as we click on it, you can see we are going to receive a response as response accepted, success. And in our second automation workflow, in the trigger step, within seconds, we have received the response. And in this response, you can see we have the same details of the person over here, which we have entered in the HTML body of our email. So in the HTML body of the email as well, after webhook URL, we have basically added the form responses. So in this way, whenever the user is going to verify the email, using the first automation workflow which we have created, we are going to send the verification email on form submission. And after the user has clicked on this verify email button, we will just trigger the second automation workflow. Now, using the second automation workflow, we want to search for this same person, this same email in our Google spreadsheet and update the email verification status. Now, to search for the same person in our Google Sheet, we will just scroll down and come to this action step. And here in Choose App, we will search for Google Sheets over here once again. After selecting Google Sheets, in action event from the drop-down, select the action event as Lookup Spreadsheet Row, version 2. Then just click on Connect. And because we have connected our Google Sheets account in the previous workflow, we don't have to make a new connection. We will be using the same spreadsheet, so we have to select the existing connection and click on Save. After clicking on Save, you can see our Google Sheets account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, here it is asking us to select the spreadsheet. So we have to select the same spreadsheet and the same sheet as well. Then it is asking us lookup value, that what is the value we are looking for. So we are looking for this email address over here, the email address which we have received from webhook response from the email notification after clicking on verify email button. So we are going to map this response of same email in this Google Sheet action step in the lookup value. Just click here and from the drop down, select and map the response of lookup value. Then it is asking us for the lookup column, that in which column we want to search for the data. So here in our Google spreadsheet, you can see we have the data of email in column B. So we will be using column B as the lookup column. Then it is asking us end column data, that what will be the last column whose data we are going to get inside Pabbly Connect. So column F is the last column whose data we want to get. So I will be entering the column F as the end column data. Then it is asking us lookup as date. So we are not searching for any date. So we are going to select no over here. Then it is asking us use sheet headers as key in response. We have to select yes. And here in sort row, we have two options, top or bottom. Either we can search for the data from the top or the bottom of the spreadsheet. So I want to search for the data from the top of the spreadsheet. Now after selecting all the options and entering all the details, just click on this save and send test request button. Now when we click on save and send test request, here you can see the row which will be having this email address in column B, the data of that complete row is received inside Pabbly Connect. We have the row number, row index, that is 2. As you can see, this is row number 2. This data is mentioned in row number 2. And after that, here you can see the rest of the detail till column F. After getting these details, what we want to do, we basically want to update this particular cell of column F over here, the email verification status. For that, we will just scroll down and click on this add action step button over here. Once again, in choose app, we will just search for Google Sheets and just select it. After selecting Google Sheets, an action event from the drop down, select the action event as update cell value. We will just scroll down and select this action event of update cell value. Then just click on connect, select the existing connection and click on save. After clicking on save, here you can see that our Google Sheets account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making the connection, we have to select the exact same spreadsheet and same sheet once again. And here in range, we have to enter the range of the cell which we want to update, in which we want to update some data, some value. Now you will notice that in range, the column app is going to be the constant, that we are going to update the email verification status in column app. But there is one thing which will be keep on changing for every new form submission for every user, and that is the row number. As you can see, the row number will be keep on changing over here. Like the range of this cell is F2 over here. So what we are going to do, we are going to enter the name of the column over here as F, that because we want to update the data in column F. But using the previous step of lookup spreadsheet row, we have received the number of row, the row number over here, that in which row in our Google Sheet we have the data of this user. So from this response, we are going to map the response of row index in this range field. So enter the column name manually, but from the drop down, map the response of row index from the previous step. After entering the range, it is asking us for the value, that what is the value we want to update. And we want to update the value as, for example, email verified. This is the value which we want to update over here, email verified. So in this way, you can see that whenever the user is going to verify their email by clicking on this button, we are going to update the status of this email verification as email verified in our Google spreadsheet. So what we are going to do after setting up this action step, just click on save and send test request. And as we click on save and send test request, we have received the response that this cell value is updated. And as we check our Google spreadsheet, you can see this data is automatically updated over here. Email verified, the status is updated. And we have successfully created our whole system of creating this double opt-in system. We have created two automation workflow. The first automation workflow is going to send the email notification for double opt-in. And after getting the email, as the user is going to click on this button, automatically the second automation workflow will trigger and it will update the email verification status in our Google spreadsheet. Now after creating both of the automation workflows, we are going to make another form submission and test this system. I'll just refresh our form over here. And we are going to enter the details of a new person. Let's say the name of the person is dummy user. This is the name. This is the email address. And let's enter another dummy mobile number. The address is this, for example, Bhopal. Age is, for example, 30. Let's click on submit form. So as we click on submit form, here you can see just now we made a form submission. A new form submission is received. And as we receive the form submission, using the first automation workflow, an email notification will be sent. The data of the form responses will be added in Google Sheet. And here in our Google spreadsheet, you can see we have received the response. We have the same name, same email address which we have entered, the same mobile number, city and age as well. And also an email is sent for email verification. So we'll just go to the email inbox and you can see the email notification is received. And we have the details of the same person. We sent this email to the person who made the form submission on their email address. Now, as this person is going to click on this verify email button, automatically we will see the second automation workflow will trigger and the status of verification will be updated in Google Sheet. So here in our Google spreadsheet, you can see the email verification status is updated as email verified. This means the automation which we have created using Pabbly Connect, this automation is working perfectly fine. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And one more important thing, you will find the clone link of this exact same automation workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone the same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this automation workflow for free. So we'll get the link of both of these automation workflows in the description box below. And let me tell you one more important thing. Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation and create this kind of system, you can do it for absolutely free.
So if this video was helpful to you, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with others, or if you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can always write us in the comment box below or email us at support@pabbly.com. Also, you can post your queries on our forum as well. And if you want to check the pricing of Pabbly Connect, you can visit this link. So this is it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.